Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
I want to talk about really the things that were taken and stripped from us, and really what that looks like. Because a lot of times, really, the vision of what the kingdom of heaven looks like, we can't really imagine it. So hopefully these scriptures today will give you some type of thought, and some of these visuals I give you some type of thought of what it's gonna look like when we get back, and what's been going on over there while we're away. So just want to look at some of those things.
Isaiah chapter 32, verse 5.
Yeah.
The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the
no. So the vile person, the liberal people that we have come to know today, the people that we think that set us forth in certain liberties, we'll start to figure out that they are vile people. When we really start reading and start doing our research and understanding what these people really thought of us, we'll see that they really didn't care for us. So I went through that book last week. Lies my teacher taught me. I got my ums going. Let me stop. Lies my teacher taught me. Today I'm going to look at Abraham's Lincoln's writing for itself. So this book right here is called Abraham's Lincoln, the Gettysburg Address and Other Writings. We're going to go to, dang, I did it again. We're going to go to page, the page I put up there. So this is inside the book. These are Abraham Lincoln's thoughts on slavery, which start on page 19. And this is what he thinks about slavery. And I really don't want the first page. There's nothing really in there. Go to the next page. And we're going to start at, no, you know what? Go back to the other page. We'll start at the bottom of page 19. Equality in society alike beats inequality, whether the latter be of the British aristocrat sort or the domestic slavery sort. We know Southern men declare that their slaves are better off than hired laborers amongst us. How little they know, wherefore they speak. There is no permanent class of hired laborers among us. 25 years ago, I was a hired laborer. The hired laborer of yesterday on his own account today, and will hire others to labor for him tomorrow. Advancement, improvement in conditions is the order of things in society of equals, as labor is the common burden of our race. Now, Abraham Lincoln was a Caucasian. He was an Edomite. What did that say? As labor is the common burden of our race. And that's according to Genesis 25. It says, so the effort of some to shift their share of the burden onto the shoulders of others is the great durable curse of the race. So he said of his race, this race is cursed. And they try to shift the work that they were allotted to perform, according to Genesis, to other races, which is part of why they curse. Originally a curse for transgression upon the whole race, when as by slavery it is concentrated on a part only. It becomes the double refined curse of God upon his creature. So he said, look, we are cursed people. We say we try to make these other nations do it for us. We're going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it in the end. All right, let's go a little further. It says, free labor has the inspiration of hope. Pure slavery has no hope. The power of hope upon human exertion and happiness is wonderful. The slave master itself has a conception of it, and hence the system of tasks among slaves. The slave whom you cannot drive with the lash to break 70 pounds of hemp in a day If you task him to break 100 and promise him pay for all he does, he will break you 150. You have substituted hope for the ride. So that was the whole point, right? That's what Abraham Lincoln wanted to do. He wanted to substitute the whip with hope. It wasn't like, oh, I want to free the slaves. He just was trying to come up with a better way to get us to move. That's what he wanted us to do. So, like he said, there was a double refined curse put on his people. On his people. We're going to go to Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 9. And we'll start at verse 1. Let me get there with you. So, the thing I want y'all to see is that these people, as a whole, identified that they are cursed. They identify these things. When you read the writings and you see what they're saying about themselves, you'll be able to see truly what they see in the future for themselves. Let's go here. Come on.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord in the land of Hadrach and Damascus shall be the rest thereof, when the eyes of man, as all the tribes of Israel, shall be toward the Lord. And Hamad also shall border thereby. Tyrus and Sidon thought it be very wise. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold, and heaped up silver as the dust, and fine gold as the mire of the streets. Behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and she shall be devoured with fire. Ashkelon shall see it, and fear. Gaza also shall see it, and be very sorrowful, and Ekron, for her expectation shall be ashamed. And the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited.
Come on.
And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines.
So he said a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? That's what he said. Now, this is in the scriptures. Now, let's look at a book that identifies who the people are that live in Ashdod. Ashdod is modern day, I had a tongue twister, modern day Tel Aviv or Israel. That's what Ashdod is. And we're going to go back to verse 1 in a minute to kind of look at the rest of these areas. But I just want you to see what's going on. Let's go to the 13th tribe. And I want, what page was that? It got a highlight on it, and I ain't send you much with a highlight. Page 80. Oh, I wrote it down right there. Page 80 in the 13th tribe. Read verse 6 one more time.
Verse 6, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
So the Lord said a bastard lives in Israel right now. A bastard is living there. Now let's look. Now we in the 13th tribe. This book is called the 13th tribe. This was written by a so-called Ashkenazi Jew, and we'll look at what all those terms mean here shortly. So we on page 80. 11th century Hebrew author Japheth ibn Ali, himself a Karaite, explains the word mamzer, bastards, by the example of the Khazars, who became Jews without belonging to the race. This is in their book. This is his people that wrote this. He one of them. And he said, we are the mamzers. This is page 80. I'm going to read it again. 11th century Hebrew author. So the 11th century, so it would be around, the 10th century, so like 1000 AD, somewhere in here, right? 11th century Hebrew author Japheth ibn Ali, himself a Karaite, explains the word mamzer, bastard, by the example of the Khazars, who became Jews without belonging to the race. That's what a bastard is. All right, let's look up bastard. Let's look up bastard. Give me the definition of bastard. Can I get that? Can I get that definition right quick? Let me get the definition right quick. We're going to go back to Zechariah chapter 9. Bastard, let me see. It says an unpleasant, despicable person. That's them. That's them. Like Abraham Lincoln said at the beginning, we have shifted our responsibility of the work we're supposed to do to other nations. This has double refined the curse that God has put on us. All right, let's go back to Zechariah. Let me get that map I sent in, that last map. If you just type in Hamath, it should pop up. But we're going to go back. Go back to Zechariah chapter 9. Let me see that map. Perfect. Thank you. All right, read that thing.
Yes, sir. Zechariah chapter 9, verse 1.
Yeah.
The burden of the word of the Lord in the land of Hadrach and
Okay.
Damascus shall be the rest thereof. When the eyes of man, as of all the tribes of Israel, shall be toward the Lord.
So once we, as the children of Israel, turn our eyes back towards the Lord, read that again.
When the eyes of man.
Start at 1. Start at the beginning.
Verse 1.
Yep.
The burden of the word of the Lord in the land of Hadrach.
So it's going to be a burden on the land of Hadrach. Go ahead.
And Damascus.
And Damascus. It's going to be a burden on them. Why?
Shall be the rest thereof.
Uh-huh.
When the eyes of man, as all of the tribes of Israel, shall be towards the Lord.
Okay.
And Hamad also shall border thereby.
And Hamath also. This is a burden on them. Go ahead.
Tyrus and,
Tyrus.
and Sidon thought it be very wise.
Though it be very wise, though they's a wise group of people, it's a burden on all of them. Why? Because they took all our land. They took it all. So a lot of times we think about, the Ashkenazi Jews that went in there, the Amalekites or whatever you want to call them, right? The Jewish people, right? We think about them and the fact that they took our land, not understanding that we got more than just Jerusalem. We got land all the way up here. When you look at this, right? It's saying all the way up in where you see Assyria and Damascus and all these areas that these Arabs or these Ishmaelites in, that's our land too. They got to go too. Let's read it again.
Verse 2. And Hamad also shall border thereby. Tyrus and Sidon, though it be very wise. And Tyrus did build herself a stronghold, and heaped up silver as the dust, and fine gold as the mire of the streets.
They over there making money, y'all. Go ahead.
Behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea.
He say, you know what, we can take this battle out to the sea. It ain't gonna all be on land. He say, you know what, some of the areas in the sea, what they call it, the navigational waters, those sea territories that they got, he said that's ours too. All the way out to the sea, we own that. This is our border. Because sometimes, people think when you talking about the U.S., like the border stops when you get to the beach. Like, no. The border is out there into the ocean. That's the actual border. 12 miles, 12 nautical miles. And I tell you, the U.S. don't give a dang about no other nation's 12-mile radius. They don't care. They roll right up in it and dare you to say something. I know because I've been there. I did it. I actually did it. I actually went on those type of missions where we would go into the other nation's coastal waters or coastal borders and see what they would do, if they would do anything.
And call it freedom of navigation.
Yep, that's what they call it. Freedom of navigation. That's what they call it. We can go up in there. We got the freedom to do that, but let them ride up around here. See what happened. Go ahead.
I was just about to say that. Like, as much as we go, like, I've been to the South China Sea.
Stop saying we, because we gotta start to disassociate ourselves with
Absolutely
America.
Right.
But
so
they do that.
When I was in the Navy, they drove the ship over there to the South China Sea.
Yeah, I was just riding.
Yeah, exactly. And they went in there.
It's like you a part of. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to disassociate yourself with them because you gonna get that thing. You better let it go.
Yeah, but let them come over here. It's gonna be World War III for real.
Oh yeah, for real. All right, where I'm at.
Verse 4, where it says, and she shall devour.
Let's do it.
And she shall be devoured with fire.
So she shall be devoured with fire. He said, we're going to take you out to the waters, and we're going to devour you out there. You know what it's like to have a fire on the ship in the middle of the ocean? It's going to be bad for them. They're going to come out there with their ships. Oh, we finna fight. And he going to drop that fire on them. You can't put out the fire. You think that salt water going to help you? Negative. You're done. And in this book, it's funny, in this book they was talking about that, how that the Israelites were, they had weapons on their ships that would shoot fire. And they was like, they got to be the people of God. I ain't even put it up here, but they had, it's in this book. I read it earlier. Where I'm at.
Verse 5, sir.
Go ahead.
Verse 5, Askelon shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it.
Gaza, he said all the way down to the Gaza, what they call the Gaza Strip. We taking all that. Go ahead.
And be very sorrowful. And Ekron, for her expectations shall be ashamed. And the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited.
We're going to get them all out of there. It's not going to be inhabited. They all got to go. The Arabs, the Ishmaelites, the fake Palestinians, because them ain't the real Palestinians, right? They fake. They stole somebody else's culture. Them more Arabs, right? They got to go too. Go ahead.
Verse 6, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
So them dang on Edomites that's over there is bastards. Bastards, they are the worst of the worst. Let's go back to the book. Keep going.
And I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And I will take away his blood out of his mouth, and his abominations from between his teeth. But he that remaineth, even he shall be for our God. And he shall be as a governor in Judah, and Ekron as a Jebusite.
Here it comes.
And I will encamp about my house because of the army, because of him that passeth by, and because of him that returneth. And no oppressor shall pass through them anymore. For now have I seen with my eyes.
So he said it's not going to be no more oppressionists. We so oppressed, we don't even know that we being oppressed. We fighting for equality, not understanding that this territory that we reading right here, from Hadrak to Damascus to Tyrus to Zidon, down to Tel Aviv and Ashdod and Gaza, that's all our territory. That belongs to you. When you're talking about receiving the kingdom of heaven, when you're talking about receiving your inheritance from God, this is what it's talking about. Your inheritance, that thing, it's associated with a specific land parcel. That's what it's attached to. That's what your inheritance is. Let's go to the book. I want, matter of fact, let's go to Malachi chapter 1. We're going to look at 1 and verse 4. It keeps saying, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, modern day Tel Aviv. Let's see what that looks like. Come on.
Malachi chapter 1 verse 4.
Start at 1.
Verse 1.
Yeah.
The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord?
So the brother of the children of Israel was Esau. Come on.
Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So he said his mountains and his heritage was laid waste. That's why they're a bastard. They don't even know who they are. These other nations, everything is off course because we are not in our rightful place and people are in our place, so they think they something that they really not, which causes everybody else to think they something that they really not. They like, well, if you them, then we must be them because they ain't nobody claiming them, so I guess I'm the Philistines now. No, you're not. You're Arab. But we not in our rightful place, therefore all the other nations are out of course because we're not in our rightful place. Let's read it again, verse 3.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
And I hated Esau.
Let's go to page 72 in the book. He said he hated Esau. Go ahead.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So his heritage was laid waste. Now we're going to go back to the book again right quick. Page 72. So when you're reading this part right here that I'm finna look at, the 13th tribe, page 72. So when I'm looking at this right here, what's going on, or the story is an actual Israelite, an actual Jew, was writing to these Ashkenazi Jews, asking them, well, who is your father? Why are y'all Jews? Because it's specific things that connect you to Judaism. And he's saying, well, y'all don't fit that connection, so I don't understand why y'all Jews. Let's see what he say. Page 72. Joseph was the king of the Ashkenazi. He was their king, right? It said, Joseph then proceeds to provide genealogy of his people. Though a fierce Jewish nationalist, proud of wielding the scepter of Judah, he cannot and does not claim for them Semitic descent. He traces their ancestry not to Shem, but to Noah's third son, Japheth. Or more precisely, Japheth's grandson, son of Tagmor, an ancestor of all Turkish tribes. we have found in family register of our father, Joseph asserts boldly that Togmor had 10 sons, and the name of their offsprings are as follows: Ugar, Durus, Avarice, Huns, Basilia, Tornak, Khazars, Zagaron, Borgars, and Sabers. Now we're going to go back. So he just said that he was Japheth, which they not. And we're going to go back and show you why. Again, back to Malachi again. And we're going to go to page 94 next in the book. Let's read Malachi 1 and 4 one more time.
Malachi chapter 1 verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So the reason why they would say we Japheth is because, again, their heritage is lost. They don't have no clue who they really are. No clue. But Lincoln was able to identify, dang, we are the cursed people because we did this, this, and that. This guy right here, he couldn't figure it out. He was like, we know we not Semitic. You know what I'm saying? We know we not the Israelites is what he was saying. They were Semitic. They just was these people. Let's go back to the book now. Let's watch this. Page 94 of the 13th tribe. The Khazar kingdom disintegrated and fell into pieces, from which the majority merged with other related people, and the minority, settling in Itel, lost its nationality and turned into a parasitic class with a Jewish coloration. That's what happened to them. Their mountains and their heritage was laid to waste. They had no clue who they were, so they just became parasitic. Can I get the definition of parasitic? Parasitic class with a Jewish coloration. That's a mouthful for you right there. That's who they became, a parasitic class. Let's see, parasitic. It says adjective of an organism living as a parasite. Okay. Resulting from infestation by a parasite. Derogatory, habitually relying on or exploiting others. That's what the book say about them. I didn't say it. I didn't write this. This is what the scholars wrote when they was putting this together. They said they are a parasitic class with a Jewish coloration. Dang. That's what it say. I just read the book. I just read it. All right, come on. Let's go back to Malachi 1 and 4 one more time in case you didn't get the point.
Verse 4.
Yeah,
Whereas
three.
Verse 3. And I hated Esau and
Yes.
laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
So his mountains and his heritage, he got none. So he just making it up. It's all fly by the night. You know what I'm saying? I think today I'm going to be Japheth. Today I'm going to be Ashkenazi. They're just making it up as they go. When you read about the actual Yiddish language, which is also in this book, I sent a million screenshots of this book in, so I didn't send this part. But it tells you that the Yiddish language itself, they just making it up as they go. They like all these words are being added all the time. They just making it up. Like it's no real origin, because it, like I said in this book, it tell you that they didn't write at all. So it was no way to transfer the language that they actually spoke to one another because they didn't write. So since they didn't write, when they all said, "Oh, let's go into Jerusalem because we the parasitic coloration of Jews. Let's all go in." They didn't have a language, so they had to create it. So all the stuff that they doing is actually just they making it up as they go. It's crazy, man. What's up? You got something, Jetty?
These brothers being quiet. But yeah, the thing that's just crazy to me is just the fact that now people will come to you and say, you got to say the name like this, and they making it up as they go.
Yeah.
So that just goes with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
they making up names as they go. They making up what your nationality should be as you go. Like, everything is being made up.
Because the whole world is out of course because we not in our rightful place. Let's go to the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 36. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's go to Romans first. Give me Romans. Give me Romans 3. Romans 3 and 1. Just so we don't forget the thought. Dang, Mike, he can read it just Boom,
Romans chapter 3, verse 1.
Yeah.
What advantage then has the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision?
Here it come.
Much every way.
Yes.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
So the advantage of you being Israel is everything. You got everything about us is an advantage. So why wouldn't you want to become a parasitic coloration of that group of people that got every advantage in life? We actually have every advantage in life. That go for you, Issachar too, right? Northern Kingdom too. We got every advantage. The place that we live is an advantage. The genetics that we have is an advantage. The way we think, the way we eat, the way we live is an advantage. Everything about us is an advantage. Everything. I wanted to get some out of this book. I think I didn't send it in. Hold on, say something, one of y'all. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, let's go back to bring that map back up again. I want to back that up with scripture. And then, Jehu, let me get Genesis 15 and 18. Yes, sir. So right here it's showing only a portion of the land, and Cap went through it in, what was it, Zechariah chapter 9. Go ahead and read that, Genesis 15 and 18.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 18. And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land.
Unto thy seed. So Abraham's seed was, his promises went from him to Isaac, and then from Isaac to Jacob. From Jacob, his 12 sons, which are the 12 tribes. So read on.
From the river of Egypt.
From the river of Egypt. So that's the Nile River. Read on.
Unto the great river, the river of Euphrates.
So from the river Euphrates, that goes through, like, what's that, Iran, Iraq, all that. So everything in between the Nile River and Iran is supposed to be our land.
That's us. That's us. Let's go back. Let's go back to Zechariah one more time. So we have an advantage. Everything about us is an advantage. Go back to Zechariah, I believe it was 9 and 6.
Yes, sir.
Read that thing again.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
So I want y'all to really see what type of bastard the Lord is talking about. Can I show y'all what type of bastard we looking at here? A parasitic, you know what I'm saying, coloration of the Jewish culture is what they perpetuate. I want page 91. The one that Abdon was like, what the hell? I want that one. So we're going to start right there. We say they are the filthiest. Let's read. Let's see. It says, they are the filthiest creatures of the Lord. In the morning, a servant girl brings a basin full of water to the master of the household. He rinses his face and his hair in it, spits in the bowl, blows his nose into the basin, which the girl then hands on to the next person, who does likewise, until all who are in the house have used that basin to blow their nose, spit, and wash their face and hair in it. This is the scripture is a bastard that's dwelling in Ashdod. I want y'all to understand what he's talking about. This is why he's saying that. A lot of times, me and my wife, we be watching this show. What's it called? Last Kingdom, right? Be these Edomites running around and doing all this stuff, conquering and stuff. And she always say, do they ever take baths? I be like, not really. Go ahead, Amsey.
The Game of Thrones as well. I don't see baths like every once a season.
Once a season they take a bath. That's what they do. That's what they do. And I know the bishop brought that out of this book as well, that they would wear their underwear till they disintegrated and all that stuff, man. This is the type of people, this is the bastard that dwells in Ashdod. The funky bastard. You know what I'm saying? Romans again, read Romans 3. So that what I just read out of the 13th tribe, an actual Ishmaelite was traveling, trying to, pull in different tribes to fight against us. So they was setting up, the Arabs was setting up and getting other tribes to fight against the Israelites. And so they went to visit them, and when they was visiting them, these are the things that they saw. So that's what you're actually reading right there. All right, where I'm going.
Romans chapter 3, sir.
Yeah, read that again.
Romans chapter 3, verse 1.
Yeah.
What advantage then has the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way.
Much every way. It's an advantage to us being the Israelites. We are a clean people, which means there will be a lack of disease and infestation amongst us if we keep the commandments of God. But these people, they bastards. They just nasty, dirty, filthy. Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 36. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 36.
1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 36.
Yeah, let me get there. Hold on,
Yes,
give me a
sir.
second. Give me a second. I like this scripture a lot. I'm ready.
Verse 36.
Yeah.
For it was a place to lie in wait
So this is talking about Jerusalem or the city of David. Go ahead.
against the sanctuary
Uh-huh.
and an evil adversary to Israel.
Read it one more time.
Yes, sir. Verse 36.
Yeah.
For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary.
So it say it was a place to lie in wait, making reference to not only, remember the scripture we just read, it said, what advantage is it to being a Jew? Much every way. Okay, what does that mean? One of the advantages was, read it one more time.
For it was a place to lie in wait.
A place to lie in wait, meaning that Israel, or Jerusalem specifically, had a military advantage. It was a place to lie in wait. We had a strategic advantage over anybody that was coming in to fight against us in our borders because of how our land was situated, how it was navigable. We had certain plateaus and mountains and valleys, that certain terrain that gave us an advantage where people couldn't fight against us. Oh, we can't even go in there, man. You see the way they got the land laid up? We can't even get in there. That's what this is talking about. Read it one more time.
Yes, sir. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary and an evil adversary to Israel.
So it was a place to lie in wait. It was a place that had a specific strategical advantage in military warfare. That was one of our advantages, along with we the flyest people in the world. We just are. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to page 81 in the book. Page 81. So again, this guy was writing. So this was our people, or actual Israelite, writing to them, trying to understand how they had set up a kingdom. He's like, how y'all set up a kingdom? Something is wrong here. Let's see what he said. It says, history contemporary Jacob ben Reuben reflects the opposite side of the ambivalent attitude by speaking of the Khazars as a single nation who do not bear the yoke of the exile, but are great warriors paying no tribute to the Gentiles. He's saying, look, part of us identifying we the Israelites is that we was exiled. We don't have a pot to piss in, for a better lack of better term. You know what I'm saying? We don't have nothing to call our own. So how do y'all have your own land? This is confusing. I'm confused. How y'all the Jews if y'all don't bear the yoke of exile? Makes no sense. Let's go back to page 71. 71, I'm sorry, page 71 in the good old 13th tribe. So this is the guy writing the letter to them. He's writing a letter to them trying to understand, y'all Israelites, y'all Jews, this makes no sense. All right, it says, and I also have one more request, to be informed whether ye have any knowledge of the possible date of the final miracle, the coming of the Messiah, which, wandering from country to country, we are waiting. He said, look, we wandering from country to country. He says, dishonored and humiliated in our dispersion. We have to listen in silence to those who say, every nation has its own land, and you alone possess not even a shadow of a country on this earth. He said, we don't even own our own shadow. We don't own nothing. How y'all got your own land? This makes no sense. He said, look, y'all can't, there's no way y'all can be Israelites because the curse was we was going to be exiled. We don't have our own land. This makes no sense. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 5 and verse 19. I was looking for the scripture the other day. I could not find it. I kept saying it was in 2nd Ezra. I was looking all over the place for it.
2 Maccabees, chapter 5, verse 19.
Yes.
Nevertheless, God did not choose the people for the place's sake,
Mm.
but the place for the people's sake.
Now, he said he chose the lands that we have. Why again? Read it again.
Nevertheless, God did not choose the people for the place's
He
sake.
didn't say, look, I'm going to take these people and put them in this place. That's not what he said. He said what?
But the place
He manufactured and created a specific place. Go ahead.
for the people's sake.
For the people's sake. Why? Again, like we read in Romans, what advantage have the Jew? Much every way. One of the major advantages was the place where we lived. That was one of the greatest advantages. It was a tactical military fortress that could not be penetrated unless the hand of God was against us. And that's what happened. Read it again.
Verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Nevertheless, God did not choose the people for the place's
He didn't
sake.
choose the people for the place sake. He said, I'm not going to put these people here to make this place better. Wherever I put these Israelites, they got an advantage. So it's going to make wherever they go better. Go ahead.
But the place for the people's
He
sake.
said, let me give them advantage by putting them in a specific place. Go ahead.
And therefore, the place itself that was partaker with them of the adversary that happened to the nation.
So that place is destroyed because we not there. Read it again.
And therefore, the place itself.
The place itself, Israel, the land we read about all the way up to Hamath and Tyrus, and from the Euphrates all the way to the sea. All of that place, go ahead.
That was partaker with them of the adversity that happened to the nation, did afterward communicate and the benefits sent from the Lord.
It said, look, I got to let the Lord know that the benefits that was given to me by the people being here, it's wasted now. Go ahead.
And as it was forsaken in the wrath of the Almighty, so again the great Lord, being reconciled, it was set up with all glory.
So it's going to be set up again with all glory when the Lord returns. But he said right now, read it again.
And therefore, the place itself that was partaker with them of the adversity that happened to the nation, did afterward communicate in the benefits sent from the Lord.
Here it comes.
And as it was forsaken.
That place was forsaken. See, a lot of times we look over there and we see them Arabs and them Amalekites running around in the desert, and we like, why we want to go over there? We don't want to be in that land. They look all busted up in deserts and dang on throwing rocks at tanks in the middle of the sand. Why we want to go over there? Who wants to live there? You got to understand the place is in adversity because we are not there. That place is not fulfilling its natural purpose. The way it's supposed to naturally look, it doesn't because we aren't there. Since we not home, it's lost. It's destroyed. It's in adversement. Go ahead, Jedi. You look like you're itching over there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to back you up. Go to Judith real quick and start at chapter 4, verse 3. You called me earlier. I was going to sit over here. You know what I'm saying? Be quiet. But you said it. So, tag. All right, Judith 4 and verse 3. So what we got to realize, right, is when you read this, you'll see that we just came back from captivity, and the land is not even built up yet, but you're going to see our enemies couldn't come and take the land because of how the land was positioned. So Judith chapter 4, verse 3.
Judith chapter 4, verse 3. For they were newly returned from the captivity, and all the people of Judea were lately, and all the people of Judea were lately gathered together, and the vessels and the altar and the house were sanctified after the profanation.
Keep going.
Therefore they sent into all the coast of Samaria, and the villages, and to Bethron, and Belman, and Jericho, and to Shobah, and Esra, and to the valley of Salem, and possessed themselves beforehand of all the tops of the high mountains, and fortified the villages that were in them, and laid up victuals for the provisions of war, for their fields were of late reaped.
So you got to think, we just coming back, right? Everything's destroyed, but we setting up these cities for war. Now look at verse 7, right? You're going to see why Jerusalem was set up a certain way, or how beneficial Jerusalem was to stop people from coming in. Read verse 7.
Verse 7, charging them to keep the passages of the hill country, for by them there was an entrance into Judea, and it was easy to stop them that will come up, because the passage was straight, for 2 men at the most.
So there was no way to come in Jerusalem and take it. Only 2 people could fit at a time. So where we were living, like, it was basically unconquerable unless the Lord wanted it to be conquered.
And a lot of times people don't understand that when they read that thing about the passages, narrow fire on one side, water on the other. You don't even understand what the Lord is telling you. You got a strategic advantage. If only one person can walk in your city at a time, you think they're going to be able to deal with an army by themselves? Nah. Strategic advantage. What advantage have the Jew? Much, every way.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.